Hello, Star Wars Battlefront players. This is Andy Teixeira, and today I'm going to be talking about a new class for Battlefront. I do tend to do these like kind of what if videos for Galaxy of Heroes between what if this faction was reworked or these characters were added or this faction was added, that kind of thing. But I wanted to talk about Battlefront because this is a game I've been recently live streaming a lot. I don't live stream SWOGA as much just because I'm still working on that setup. But for the most part, I do want to talk about Star Wars Battlefront. It's a fun game, Battlefront 2. Now, I will say, yes, the Ultimate one is still the original Battlefront games, but these new ones have some merit to them. And it's like I wish they were kind of both fused together, combined, like the graphics of the new one with a lot of the characters of the old one and the diversity of the old one. The new one's getting there. The new ones are starting to get there, which is great. Now, first off, I want to say, yeah, the pilot, this is definitely going to be a video about pilots, but also they can also technically be tagged gunner or engineer. And of course, maybe you could have a pilot gunner class and an engineer class as well. So I'm going to list off some of my ideas, and then I'm going to go through some skins for each of the actual classes that these ones have. Just because the skins are kind of, I know after a while you get kind of not enough skins for the whole faction, then they have to create new, which isn't too bad. But I do want to at least talk about how pilots could work. First off, I feel like pilots could actually be the better ones to pilot, like for Galactic Assault and stuff like that. They would be good at piloting ships, piloting vehicles, and gunning the turrets. They like if you go on Hoth, there's the dish turret and the little round cylinder style turret. They would give it better health, maybe better cooldown, or if they don't build up as much heat. One of the three. But ways to improve those little things, improve the speeders. There's a lot that pilots can do. Pilots, gunner, engineers. I'm just going to call them all pilots right now. But yeah, improving those areas. They also could have a slicing aspect to them, where they slice enemy turrets, the ion turret and the officer turret, and they would actually, even though they're pointing the wrong way, they would still be able to fire. And of course, there would be the obvious slicing a sliced turret back to your side as well. But I feel like also that it's tricky to go with that, but, it can be done. It's been done in games before, so why not? Get it to where pilots can actually do that. Run up, steal an enemy turret, maybe even allow it to be turned around. You slice it, and then you quickly change the direction. You choose the direction, and once you hit the trigger, it instantly points at that direction. So that the enemies come running down the hall, they're like, oh crap, my turret, it's shooting at me. But that's something. Also, they could be, if they're in the area, kind of like Officer's Presence, where it kind of helps start the regeneration of health. It could also help start the regeneration of health of vehicles, turrets, etc. Obviously not with a ship, unless a ship flies really, really, really close to the ground, goes through that engineer's presence or whatever, and flies back up and actually starts the regeneration that way. That's got to be daring. It's like, hey, boom, now you're starting to heal. It wouldn't happen, at least with starfighters. But, if you get out of a starfighter or a vehicle, you see the pilot that you were, or you see the actual character you were, or the class you were prior to that. This way, if you hop out, you'd be a pilot, and you can run around. Again, there is a downside. The only thing I've seen a lot of pilots do is run around with pistols, so they can have their own unique pistols, or even some assault rifle style weapons come into the game. It's tricky with pilots, I will say. They would just be another one. They could also be like a mini shotgunner kind of class or something like that. I do know that a couple of star cards I have an idea of is having both the flash and the stinger pistols, just to give some more support against heroes, since they're starting to bring out more and more heroes, starting to allow more heroes out on the field. Yeah, I feel like they could actually gain that. I also feel like having them have ion grenades and shock grenades as well as maybe not the ion torpedo, but the thermal, not thermal imploded, but the thermal detonation charge. That's what it's called. I apologize for that. Having those kind of effects. So there's a lot of ideas there, and maybe that's, something that could be fun with. Yes, you could. I feel like also pilots could also have a personal shield as well, like the specialist does, just because they would be frail and weak. They wouldn't be heavy armored. I feel like they would be as weak as the specialist, if not a little weaker on health. But they could also be another melee class like the specialist kind of can run around and do. Maybe even do it better. So, but now I'm going to go through some skins, just, quickly talk about them and then just end the video. But I want to show some skins. So first off, I'm going to talk about the clones, since we're in the kind of Clone Wars era for Battlefront. We obviously have the LAAT gunner or pilot that we see in episode 2. Then we have the ones in episode 3. And then, of course, all the Clone Wars variations. Like this was that stealth ship. So we'd have this variation of a pilot, this one. So there's multiple different pilot variations. Going to Separatists is tricky, because Separatists have just this battle droid. But you could theoretically have this one as well as the one with the backpack. So you have 2 variations of the same droid, as well as 2 blue different... Because this one has blue on its head where this one doesn't. So there is some of that. We also have, if you remember, Star Wars Battlefront 2 from 2005, had a Space Marine aspect. Like, it was kind of like a space assault class. And they could have they had a green coloration on it. So they can add a couple of different green skinned ones as well. We also have a pilot, the actual gunner or pilots for the AAT tanks, as well as you could do the fire extinguishing droids as well, just for the fun of having that skin in the game. Next is the Imperial. Obviously, we have the Imperial TIE Fighter. That's the basic one. We also have the tank droid from Rogue One. We have the ATDP droid, or pilot, not droid, pilot, as well as the AT-AT pilot. And the Death Star gunner. I think it'd be kind of cool to see this, because I know if you play Star Wars, the original Star Wars Battlefront 2, you can run around with that type of class was in this one, where I think it was a pilot or an engineer or whatever, but he'd throw down a health and a ammo pack. Of course, this game doesn't have ammo, and its health is regenerative. So who knows? Maybe he throws down packs, and that's another idea for the pilots, or it could be engineers. But they throw down packs, and they pick up and instantly start cooling down your weapon and start cooling down instead of the officer's ability, but just it's a single targeted ability. But then we have the First Order. They have their variation of the gunner. And then, of course, the Special Forces TIE Fighter pilot and the TIE Fighter pilot themselves. Next is the Rebels, their basic orange jump suit, as well as the A-Wing, but we also have a few other variations. But just mostly Rebels and Resistance are kind of like the low end. Got Resistance with their orange jumpsuit, which is just a Rebel jumpsuit, but just different, modified different. And then, of course, their A-Wing pilots. And, of course, there's also this pilot as well for Rebels. And, yeah, that's it. But, yeah, these are just different skins. I think it'd be kind of cool to see in-game. There's I know Rebels did have different squad leaders, and they'd have some different colorations. Like this guy's from Rogue One. And he was, I think he was like green leader. So he'd had some green jumpsuit, so they gave him another coloration. They could also, for the Resistance guys, they could have this new Resistance show have the pilot skin. So you'd actually see guy in the Resistance skin have a like TIE Fighter pilot look. Then Imperial TIE Fighter pilot, but they're Resistance, that from that show. But I personally haven't seen that show yet. I don't have the app to work because I don't use cable or dish or anything. So, but other than that, let me know what you guys think in the comments below about pilots being a class of Star Wars Battlefront 2. I personally think it'd be cool. It'd be cool to see another 1 to 3 more basic classes to run around as. So there's more different synergies, more different styles of fighting, as well as I am going to be covering some more Enforcer classes, possible Enforcer style classes. So definitely stay tuned for that. But again, thanks for watching. I really appreciate all those that watch the videos I make, and you guys have a wonderful day.